First of all, I never leave home without it. Gigartina algae. So, how does someone fall in love with seaweed? I know this is kind of an unlikely love story, but like all good stories, it started with my grandmother. She was the first woman chiropractor. She graduated in 1918 from chiropractic school. Had 6 children, a complete chiropractic practice. She was a type A personality before the word was invented. And she went and went and went, and one day tore a ligament, but that wasn't going to stop my grandmother until it finally did, and she ended up flat on her back in bed. And after about a couple months, she woke up one morning early and she told my grandfather, "I've had a dream." Now, this was the same woman that the night the Titanic sank, she woke up screaming and was inconsolable and was told, "Oh, it's just a dream." So trust me, whenever my grandmother said, "I had a dream," we all listened. So she proceeded to tell my grandfather, "I want you to carry me down the street and put me in the water." And it was in New York, and it was in December. And by the way, that's snow that they're standing on, and that's my poor uncle desperately wishing he was somewhere else. So they began to swim, and within a few months, my grandmother was healed. And so in my family mythology, I was always taught seaweed and the ocean is healing, because she used seaweed packs, put them on her body, and she always swore it was the seaweed that healed her. So after college, I went off to my first archaeological dig, having no idea what was really in store for me. It really only took about 3 months in the desert in the Mideast in the middle of the summer to realize that I had chosen the wrong career. So I returned back to the US. I asked my grandmother for advice. What should I do? And she told me to study healing modalities from all around the world, which I did. And then unbelievably, that led me into becoming a spa director. I have no idea, but that's how it happened. And so 30 years ago, my first job as a spa director, I was given the task to find a skincare line. Now, I'm the person that washed her face with water. I have no interest in skincare. Talk about least likely. My skin felt dry, maybe I would put a little olive oil on my skin, but now I had to find a skincare line. So I met with sales representatives. They gave me samples of jars of potions and lotions, and the archaeologist in me wanted to know, what is this stuff and where did it come from? Well, I found out it was mostly made out of cheap synthetic chemicals, and it was made in New Jersey primarily. So I thought once more of my grandmother, and I turned back to the sea. And I began to study and learn more about seaweed. That seaweed has been used for the last 12,000 years. In 50 AD, Pliny the Elder wrote how he used seaweed packs on aching joints. The Victorians, they used it for bruises and skin rashes. And need I mention the Japanese? They've known about the health and beauty secrets of seaweed for centuries. And even today, you can go to the coast of Brittany, ask any fisherman after they've cleared the kelp off the beaches. They'll tell you that the seaweed softens their hands like nothing else. And seaweed is actually broken into colors. Rather, scientists categorize seaweed by colors. There's the greens, which obviously we're most familiar with. There's the browns. Well, leave it to me to fall for that. really hot red algae over there. Gigartina algae is one of my favorites. And what's so unique about Gigartina algae is the plant has a female and male part of it. Those little bumps, those are the eggs, and that secretes a very unique sugar-based gel. And that gel is what nourishes the plants. The male part is smooth, and it doesn't have that same kind of gel juiciness as the female. So here's a piece of seaweed, the Gigartina, that we've rinsed with fresh water and then dried naturally in the sun. What this will do is it cuts down some of that low tide smell, which I love, but not everybody loves the smell of seaweed. But what's remarkable about Gigartina is its healing properties. It's used as wound healing for burn victims. And something that I think is extraordinary is that it's a very powerful antiviral, specifically against the herpes virus. Imagine a world without cold sores. It's possible with Gigartina algae. Now, that's a picture of me really at my happiest. If I can be holding seaweed, rolling around in it, bathing in it, sorting through it, that's really where I feel my best. Maybe it's my connection to my grandmother, but I think it's something more. And seaweed is such an untapped resource. I would go so far as to say it's our least appreciated resource on this planet. You can see some of the applications, and it's just beginning. Skincare, there's functional foods. In fact, the average American comes into contact with seaweed up to 10 times a day. What did you brush your teeth with this morning? Well, I'm assuming you brushed your teeth, but toothpaste made with alginates. Seaweed is a thickening agent in your food. Seaweed is in your, what else is it in? It's in everything. It's like, I'm blanking out here. It's in your dairy products. So seaweed is all around us. And that's what makes it so unique. And what I find also extraordinary is that seaweed has changed very little. It's been around for 300 million years. Now, there's a very inconvenient truth about seaweed as well. It's often referred to as the lymphatic system in the ocean. What does that mean? It means that when seaweed grows, it absorbs the nutrients and the minerals, and it also absorbs the toxins and the heavy metals. And that's why the source of our seaweed becomes so important. It becomes so important to know where it comes from because it absorbs everything. So I really ask you, start the conversation with seaweed. Say it every day. Think about it. Eat it. Use it. And learn to love it. Because we will only protect what we love. So join me in protecting this precious resource so we can all bathe in the sea of life.
Thank you. What would you like them to do with those seaweed packages?
Oh, okay. I would love to tell you. So now that I got the talk over with, take your piece of seaweed home and cover it with a little bit of hot water, and you're going to see it just morph into a bigger piece of seaweed. And that gel, remember that I talked about with the egg? Take that gel, Rub it on your skin, put it in your scalp. Have fun, and be sure to tell us how you played with your G. Gartina. Thanks.
Thank you, Jenefer.